Today is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. I traded in the simulator again today. Pretty slow morning, particularly in the pre-market. There was almost nothing moving that I liked. Um, One of the bigger movers of the day, SNSE, was just out of my price range by the time it hit the scanners. It had halted in the pre-market, bearing news, and it went from the daily chart had been hovering right around like $8, I think it was, for several days, if not weeks. When it opened, it started at like $18, I think, or something, and it shot straight to like $28, and then it went up to 35 or 36 or something. Just a little too expensive for my taste. When I first saw it, it was still around like the 20-ish, 25-ish dollar range there. But the spreads were huge. Sometimes they were getting up to around $1 or so. Uh, so I left it alone, and everything else. The other top gainers on the morning had either made their move early on or even last night, so it just wasn't a whole lot of movement. That being said, at the market open, I was sitting right at break even. I think I took like 11 trades or something, and they were just little nickels and dimes here and there. I did trade after the market open, and I took 13 trades after the market opened and went 10 out of 13 on those trades. They were all on the ticker FVRR, and my first trade on it was right as it was breaking $11, and it went all the way up to $13, and then back down to 12, and back to 13 again. Um, and I went from right at break even to 94 cents on the day. Kind of started consolidating sideways, and I just washed my hands and moved on. My last trade was at 8:39, so I was only trading in the open market for 9 minutes. So almost hit my goal. Pretty light on the trade volume today, which is kind of what I'm wanting to do. Like an A day for me would be 20 or 30 trades and hitting my goal. Today was 32 trades and I hit 94 cents. And I could have washed the whole pre-market out. I took whatever I said, I think 12 trades in the pre-market, and I was sitting at 3 cents of profit ratio in the green. And that was after a 4 cent winner. So I was sitting 1 cent in the red. So basically a waste of time and effort. I should have just been more patient and sat on my hands longer, but I had to do something. Otherwise, I was going to go crazy. I didn't take my first trade until 6:48, so I did sit on my hands for quite a while. That being said, I went back to the sim today after my red day with my actual account yesterday on Tuesday. I wallowed in self-pity all day yesterday. I was pissed off at myself. I was upset. I was disappointed. Um, the fees ended up being a little more than I was expecting. But still, either way, I'm still below that 500 minimum. I was able to get on CMEG and trade in the demo like nothing's happened, and I could switch to my live account like nothing happened. I never attempted a live trade, so what I'm guessing it would have said is it either would have let me trade or it would have said rejected due to insufficient funds. That's going to be my guess, but I don't know. I didn't try it. I think I'm just going to commit to um, putting more money in the account to get back above the 500 minimum and moving on with my life. One thing I've thought about a lot yesterday was where I was at before I went big red on the day. Before the market opened, I was sitting there on my hands at 15 cents in the profit. It was a very small green day, but it would have been, by the time the fees and commissions came out, basically a break even day. I think I would have actually lost like $3 or $4 on the account. What would have been nice is to get to trade in my account again instead of going back to the sim, um, because there is definitely, as much as I try to take the sim seriously, there's still that part of your backbone that knows it's fake. So the anxiety I felt the night before trading with that actual account, that Monday night, It woke me up early. I was very anxious. I'm putting so much pressure on myself to not mess this up. So I've got to get over that because I'm gonna mess it up. I think part of the pressure I'm putting on myself right now isn't necessarily to not have a bad day, but it's because if I have a bad day, then I've got to fuck with funding the account and all of that stuff. I want to at least be able to continually trade with my actual account, get that actual feeling. Um, that was something I had back when I first started trading on the Webull account. I would not commit to trades and all these things, and I would commit to shitty setups and blah blah blah. So I need to get in the feel of really trading with the meaningful actions in my actual account where it's going to truly potentially change the way that I live. So I need to fund it, and then I need to give myself a good several days in a row where it's the normal now. I did one day back in the middle of January, and that was the first day I had traded in several weeks, and I went bad red. That was dumb as shit. I should have committed to the sim for several days and then get back in the habit of trading. So that was dumb. And then it's been weeks since then. And then all of a sudden, yesterday was the first day, and I go red, and it could have been avoided. Um, so all these emotions I have around actually trading so far, I get confidence in the sim, and then I fuck it all up when I'm trading with money, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions in my brain. So I need to get into the habit of dealing with those actual emotions while I'm trading. Yesterday, even when I started losing after the opening bell, I didn't throw a fit. I wasn't in here screaming or smashing the computer or nothing. I was just like deeply disappointed in myself and just, sad. Um, really, it really broke my confidence, and I moped around all day. It's all I could think about is just how I'm committing so much time and effort to this. I've changed around my whole job schedule so that I could trade every day. And then I finally get to trade and I fuck it all up. So I've got to get myself to where I can trade with my money for several days in a row. So I'm over that. Even if I have a bad day, it doesn't matter because tomorrow is another day. None of this is going to really um, make or break me as a person or the way that I live my life with my friends and family. So I need to get over that. And somehow I'm letting those days bother me more than I should. So I need to. I've just got to give myself some time with the actual account. Um, so that's a lesson that I've learned as of yesterday. And today I hit my goal in 32 trades, and it's like it just feels like another day. I'm not super excited or anything. Um, but it's in the sim. If I would have done this yesterday with my actual account, I would have been on cloud nine. I just know how that would have made me feel, and I need to get a couple of those days, not to mention just a couple of even break even days under my belt. The first thing to do is to not blow it up. The second step is to break even, and then the third step is to slowly base hit your way into profitability. And I've proven myself plenty capable in the simulator. Now I have to prove myself in the real deal. So that's where I'm at now. I'll work on getting some funds wired back to the account. I know that takes several days processing and handling and blah blah blah. So I'm sure I'll be in the sim. I think maybe tomorrow I'll try and take a live trade and see what happens. The worst they could do is it not work. I'm just hoping that I get to keep access to the CMEG simulator because it's what I've really came accustomed to over the past several weeks, and it's what I'm going to be trading with for the next several weeks or months. So I want to stay in that platform. I did tinker with Webull my old Webull account. It's still active. I think there's still a dime in it. And I set up paper trading there. So if I have to, I can switch to that. Obviously, it's a little different. I mean, it's not rocket science. I can figure it out pretty quick, but I'm comfortable with the CMEG now. I know what I'm looking at. I know how to click the buttons and all these things. So, anywho, that's where I'm at today. A nice morning, trading session for me. I was able to sneak some profit out of the market, and holy smokes, what else can a guy want? 32 trades at 63% accuracy, and I hit 94 cents, basically my daily goal. So, not too bad for a Wednesday morning. I'm glad to get on the green side of things after a red day yesterday, and let's move on with life and have a strong Thursday morning. All right.